YouTube. It's thumbnail. Yeah. So it's Monday and I don't feel like shit. It's great. That's what I get for not drinking last night in the live stream. So just a quick one for this. I've done a video of this before because I set it up. That's why it plays really good. It's amazing when you get a guitar in. It's like I've got the Turbo Lover in. I'm going to put more pickups in it. I'm going to go silly with it. Just one of the jpacks ones, and it's like, oh, I've got a guitar. You know, I've so often got a guitar hanging in the wall, and it's like, oh, I've got to work on that. And it's like, all I've got to do is put pickups in it because everything else has been done because I've already done it. It's like, yay! It's great when that happens. So this is a 1987. You can tell the serial number starts with a 7. This is a Washburn G2v. I have actually owned a couple of G1Vs before. The 1986. It was a 1986 one, or a 1987 one, or a 1987 and a 1988. I think it was 87, 88 I had actually. The 87 one had, so it was basically this guitar but with single humbucker, no scratch plate, and the most bizarre Floyd Rose on it, which was not what you would call a Floyd Rose. I don't actually have a Floyd Rose. I don't have any guitar with what, you know, like, obviously my Ibanez does have a Floyd Rose because it's made by Floyd Rose. This was a bridge made by Floyd Rose that wasn't the usual thing. It was kind of like it was actually not unlike this. This is a Wonder Bar, Washburn Wonder Bar. It was kind of sort of like this. It was like a Strat. It fitted in a Strat route, and it had like the fine tuners on it, so it was locking, but it was just a Strat bridge. It was a bizarre thing. I've never seen another one on any other guitar. And it was great. I turned one of them into an Iron Brewcaster, and I can't remember what I did with the other one. They were good guitars. Basically, this is just from that same range. This was called the Force series at the time, and it's like, so this is 87. This is my 1983 Force 3, which is kind of at the start of when they started making the Force series. This was actually just called a Force 3 rather than being a G something, but at this time they were still in the catalogue as the Force series. You know, G1 to, I had a 15 as well, G15, or you go up really high actually. So it's they're kind of weird. They're kind of, so there's a transitional model between these two. I've put away the A20, haven't I? There is one, you can get there's a Washburn that kind of came between them. So about like a 1985 one or something like that, which looks more like this, but it doesn't have the pointy headstock. It's got like the A20 hockey stick headstock. And when I say hockey stick headstock, I mean like it's actually shaped like a hockey stick, not what you normally see as a hockey stick headstock, the one that actually just looks like a hockey stick. Kind of. I had it out last night. I'll show you 2 seconds. That headstock, the one that's actually hockey shaped, it kind of matches this bit. This is in the Yamaki stage series. See, it's like that's left-handed, but very much so. Yes. So there was a G range which were still called the Force series, but they were lettered G something, which were very much this shape. I think they even came with the Wonder Bar. So this is like sort of when they moved to Korea, they put a pointy headstock on it because that was the fashion by 1987. It's like, whoa, pointy headstock, that's what you want. So it's actually a really good place to get like a really cheap guitar if you get not just Washburn, any brand from this sort of era. When you get a pointy headstock, because Pope don't like pointy headstock, so you get them much cheaper than one that had any other headstock. To be honest, I don't like the look of the one with this headstock. This headstock works totally on this guitar for me. It's like I'm not one I like. There's headstocks I like, but it depends what guitar it's on. This one, because the headstock matches this bit, that's the perfect headstock for this guitar. Whereas on this one, it's like, no. To be honest, also the pointy headstock on this for me is a bit, no. The sort of vaguely Telecaster-y one is a better headstock for this shape of guitar. So suppose I'll play it a little bit. So I got this in with my pal I've tried to fix a couple of guitars for, has donated this to jpacks to get it painted up. This one has, it's got the Wonder Bar. This scratch plate's been really badly painted purple. I don't know why they chose to paint it purple. I don't know what colour it would have been first. It looks awful. It wasn't my pal that painted it. And so it's been donated to jpack, so I'm basically going to take it to bits and sand it down before I go over this afternoon. Or I might just take it to bits and then sand it when I'm over there, because she's got better sanding stuff. I'll just do that, I think. But I was thinking about the Wonder Bar. The Wonder Bar's kind of like it's sort of a Floyd Rose type thing. It's actually a bit more like a Caller. In fact, it's like a Caller. I've got all these things sitting to hand by total chance. So there's a Caller, which has like roller saddles and then like a spring contained inside it, which sits inside the guitar, like kind of like a wee bit like the, I can't be bothered going to get it, but I've got a Watkins rapier sitting through next door that I'm going to work on tomorrow. Kind of like that. So you get springs inside it. I think the Jazzmaster's a bit like that as well, rather than having, you know, like the channel in the back with the springs on it. But this is, you know, that's how low one of these sits, and then you get your fine tuners and then some sort of locking thing, which, because Floyd Rose owned the patent for the actual proper Floyd Rose, but there's a bit missing from that. Wonder where that went. Yeah, because Floyd Rose actually, when it says Floyd Rose licensed, what it's actually talking about is, I've showed you about 12 guitars already, but you know, what we now think of as a Floyd Rose thing, where you've got the nut and the clampy things are one unit. That's what the Floyd Rose license is for that, not for this bit. It's for that. So when you find any guitars specifically from this era, I'm not sure whether Floyd Rose didn't license them out yet, or they hadn't had the idea of, hold on, we can license this out and just basically just get money for doing nothing. So any Ibanez were the same. Lots of things with their own idea of what a Floyd Rose was. They couldn't get this one because it was patented. So you've got a separate nut and then a clamp thing that sits behind it. Whatever difference that makes. It always makes it really awkward to get at the truss rods. Like on this one, you'll have to get at the truss rod, you have to take this whole unit off, which isn't ideal. There are ways around it. But the Ibanez one's kind of like got a notch in it, so you can get an Allen key in to adjust the truss rod, or you put the truss rod in here. Again, it's a squeaky strap, but that's not the guitar's fault. So I'd imagine these are Samick made. Good quality. It's got its own branded, decent type tuners, and the squeaky strap again. I have to keep mentioning about with that. HSS, no coil split, which is kind of surprising. Normally when you get this, it's like these guitars tend to have a wee switch to make it a single coil in the bridge, but that's not what this one has. Yeah, so you got your Strat sounds neck, just in 4, middle pickup which I never use. Position 2, which will be, I'll just check, maybe it's got automatic coil splitting. Nope, it doesn't. It maybe will do once I'm finished with it. So you get a humbucker and the bridge in the middle, and then you get the humbucker. Which obviously the humbuckers always work better with it at the start. This is a really awful good guitar. Yeah, but as I was saying there with the Wonder Bar, how much these things cost? I've got one on I bought one because I love the engineering aspect of it. It's so over engineered. It's got like 2 sets of rollers, and it's kind of basically a Caller with more bits on it. But the big thing about the Wonder Bar is it's entirely surface mounted, so you can just unbolt that and all you're left with is 4 screw holes. But there's no drilling, there's no routing into the guitar, which means it's dead easy to take off, or it's also dead easy to fit it to anything. You know, you could just have like, I don't know, like an SG or anything with a flat top. I think you do actually get like mounting plates to put them on Les Pauls and stuff like that. So they're not quite, you know, obviously these days you get those, was it the less trem, where it's, there's a FRX Floyd Rose, which is a similar kind of concept, apart from there to replace tune-o-matic bridges, so they actually just fit to into the posts where the tune-o-matic bridge goes, so you don't actually have to even drill the 4 holes to put it on. But this, back in the day, was the thing. Also called the Answer. This one says Washburn 2001 on it. The one I've got in the on the my BC Rich says the Answer on the back, which is the make. Sometimes they say Washburn 2001, sometimes they say Wonder Bar, sometimes they say other things, but they're all basically the same thing. I think whoever it was manufactured them, made them for themselves and for another couple of companies, but the Washburn got branded ones. I think that this bit here adjusts the string trim. It's also got one of the things I like about these is it's like, to make it a left-handed one, you can just unscrew the trim arm and put it in this hole instead. Sorted. And this one actually has all the original wee rotary knob things. Normally one of them's missing and it's been replaced with one which does the job but doesn't look the same. I think even that color there's the same. It's got five original ones and one slightly different shape, different coloured one, but still works. Yeah. So I mean, I was thinking, yeah, I'm pretty sure I paid like 60 quid, and remember thinking it was a really good buy when I bought one of these. I don't think it'd be 10 years ago, but something like that. I just like look up. There's like folk. I mean, I know this is looking on eBay, and it's like there weren't any for. When I say active listings, there were, you know, like buy it now ones, and it was like 350 quid from Germany for one of these, and there was folks selling individual saddles for £110 each. Like, right, okay, so basically what I'm going to do before I get this to Jen is this is getting off and going on eBay, and I'm going to try and get a couple $100 for it, as you do. And because all there is 4 screw holes to hold it on and a completely flat top guitar, I can just put any flat top any type. I'll show you another guitar. I'm going to buy one of these bridges, I think. Yes, the intonation's nowhere like on this one. That kind of thing. They're not expensive. Unfortunately, it does have to be drilled in to be neck through, you know, string through. But that kind of, I think it's a sort of badass design or something like that. I quite fancy one of them. On this, either that or I put a Telecaster bridge on it. Something like that, just to make it a bit more. But then if you put a Telecaster bridge on, you lose the humbucker. So I'll have a look and see what I can find to put in it. But I think I'm going to take this off. Well, I'm going to take this off and try and sell it. Personally, I don't really like it. I don't like the colour either. It's got a certain Bigsby-ness to it. Well, I mean, it does work and it's quite responsive and stuff. It feels a bit funny. I'm too used to like the Floyd Rose or the Strat type bridge, where the fulcrum for bending it is where the strings break. So this one, it's kind of like the same as it is in a Jazzmaster or something. It kind of feels like you've got like a lever that's operating something else rather than having a lever connected directly to the strings, because it's kind of, it's not vague, but you just get used to it. There's a delay in it or something. It's a kind of weird one. I've actually talked for 13 minutes. I've not even played yet. Yeah, so you will see this guitar once it's been jpacked up. The reason I've got the 2 guitars is because I was going to see what the difference was as it evolved. I kind of, actually, to be honest, when I started the video, I remember when I was started talking, I remembered that there was one in the middle. So I think you could get this made by Chushin in Japan with the hockey stick headstock. I seem to remember there's a G35 that does this, and you get ones with all different pickup combinations and stuff, and scratch plates and no scratch plates and stuff. There's a whole range in like 1985. In that era of Washburn, I don't know whether it was something to do with distributors or something. We tend to, in the UK, get most of the Washburns we see are the earlier ones, like from, I don't know, like 1980 to 1983, 1984. The 1985 and 86 Japanese Washburns, there's quite a lot of models. I see them in America, but I don't see them here very often. I think they maybe had to be specially imported or something. I assume it's something to do with distributors or something like that. So we don't really get that many, and then we start seeing them again when you start getting into the Korean ones later on, so 87, 88, but the sort of 85 ones, they're not particularly common if you can find one though. They're amazing guitars if you dig the look. Yeah, so I was going to say this. So this is the Yamaki built one, which came out, I think it actually came out in 83. I think this is pretty much as early as they come. So this one, although you can see the family heritage in it, well, they've got their Les Paul, which is the Wing series one. They've got their Explorer, which is the stage series, and went, oh, we'll get a Stratty type one. Well, it's kind of a bit more telly-ish, mainly because it doesn't have the forearm contour, which makes it feel like a telly. Also, this one has, as you can see, at some point in its past, oh, there's two screw holes there and two screw holes there. I wonder what was on that. So this has had at some point, whether it was original or not, I don't know, but this has at some point had a Wonder Bar on it. It's also, if you look at the pickups there, look, see the three screw holes. I think this at some point had three Telecaster bridge pickups in it. I bought this by mistake, but this is where you get like the Yamaki over the top. That's 82, sorry, not 83. The serial number on this one starts 82, so you know. It doesn't actually say made in Japan on it, but there you go. But it is. This one's got the Goto Washburn bridge things on it. It's also got the Toblerone V-neck, which is fantastic. I absolutely love a V-neck. That would maybe be something I would maybe, if I'd spec'd the Corker myself, I would maybe ask for a neck like this. I do love that guitar though. Yeah, so it's a one-piece maple neck. When I say one-piece maple neck, you can see there's an extra piece put on there, but you can see that there's the difference. It's like, where's the heel? There isn't one. So basically this one is a bolt-on neck, but as you can see, the neck plate's here, not here, where it is on a Strat. So it actually bolts on in below the bridge pickup, which is more for, you know, here, I think more for looks than for actual high fret access. But in saying that, you can actually, I mean, I can play the pickup on this. That's how tight the, you know, I don't know how can I get up on this. I see I can't play the pickup on this. I can only get to the last fret. I can't get to way past the fretboard. Not that I ever play up there anyway. Yeah, so I noticed this at one time before. It was the bass version I've got. Get another guitar. That would go for a record for how many guitars I can hold in this particular. If you look at like a Strat outline. Jesus, really. If you look at a Strat outline, it's exactly the same. Or it did so with the P-Bass. I assume the Strat's the same. It's exactly the same outline. The only difference is being on a Strat. This goes whoop, comes up, takes the neck bolt, and then goes whoop. Whereas on a Washburn, it goes straight down like that. Like these two are joined, kind of like that, and then the neck plate is here. But it is Strat shaped. It does make it a bit annoying for changing necks because obviously you can't use this neck on anything else. Or you could probably use it on something else if you pure sawed it out to make it the right to make it Strat shape. But obviously you can't replace the neck on these things with anything but the right one. This one's obviously been heavily modified. I bought this by mistake actually. It was one of those ones on eBay when you see it, and I was like, it was going at like, I don't know, 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning or something like that, and I saw it and thought, I'll put a wee shitty bid in it so I don't forget about it. And then up comes Thursday at work, like that, beep beep, you've won. Like, what, won what? Shit, what? I ended up with it. Got it for absolute song for the guitar that is, and it's absolutely pro level amazing. Although it's been heavily modified and it's got lots of really dodgy bits round about here where it's had various bridges put on it over the years, and then whoever it was eventually ended up with a Telecaster bridge. This is it actually came with a a Seymour Duncan Broadcaster pickup in it, which I think I sold for 20 quid more than I bought the whole guitar for. But I did buy this Bill Lawrence because it looked cool pickup for 30 quid. So I think we ended up with this whole guitar cost me a tenner or something stupid. You know, it was like but amazing. Yes. So you see, it's amazing when you go the difference between this one and the Korean. Korean's an amazing guitar. It's what you would get now, like being like the Korean one. It's like, you're sort of, I don't know, up to about $1,000 type guitar sort of thing, totally in that level somewhere else. This is way above that. All Yamaki built ones are. The Tushin ones are way above that as well, but not as high as the Yamaki ones. The Yamaki ones are just a little bit. They kind of went under in about 1982, 1983, because I don't think they made enough money. They were kind of selling the guitars too cheap, or they were building them too expensive, depending how you look at it. There was a big thing when you started getting into the late 80s, when I talk about this a lot, so 87, all the companies started realising that, hold on, things are changing a little bit. It used to be a case of Japan had this honour thing where they had to try and make guitars that were the best guitars in the world. These are attempts. This is an attempt to make the best Stratocaster type guitar in the world. They weren't trying to make it to a price. They were just trying to make the best one, which is it's kind of like what we're doing with the jpacks ones. It's totally there. It's just not very business sensible. When they started realising that, hold on, all we have to do is make it look like this, and then skimp out on other bits, because obviously this is a much more expensive way of doing a neck. It's difficult to make one-piece necks. The V-neck profile is difficult. All these things are hard, whereas you can just churn them out, and then you started getting, even when you started getting into the early 90s, people went even further, like your Marlin Sidewinder, where you would get a guitar that looks like a $2,000 super heavy metal thing, but it's just all made of cheese. It's like the plywood and everything on a Marlin Sidewinder's terrible. The original ones are alright. For the first year, the museum I built ones, but the ones later on, and you just get it, and it's like, you don't see them very often anymore, but I used to, when I started playing guitar, they were everywhere. But they had a funny Floyd Rose type bridge of their own design. Actually, they kind of copied it off a West Tone Bendmaster. But if you ever notice a West Tone that's got the Bendmaster on it, the Bendmaster's still on it. Oh, why is that? It's because it didn't disintegrate, because they used metal to make it. Like metal doesn't disintegrate, whereas small amounts of metal kind of mixed in with other crap to make it as cheap as possible does just, at some point, every Marlin Sidewinder, at some point, someone's gone, and it's just going, and you're going, what's happened? And the block in the back's just turned to Weetabix and just disappeared, and you can't get parts for it. It's also not easy to just get a plop-in bridge that fits in the stupid hole that a West Tone Bendmaster has. It doesn't fit into a Strat routing, it doesn't fit into a Floyd Rose one. It's kind of too big, so if you did try and put any other type of bridge in it, you're going to have gaps around it, or just annoying. Yeah, no, I don't know. This is my favourite of the Force series. This particular guitar, this is a Force 3, because it's got 3 pickups. There's a Force 2, which is 2 humbuckers. I've got one of them. And then there's one with 1 humbucker, which is also a Force 2, which always pissed me off. I did buy it because it was cool as fuck. It's got the most amazing paint, the Force 2. But yeah, it was there. And I've seen that recently. Might be able to pick this up right now. It's over. There we go. Oh. Just go for the record of how many guitars I've held up. You can come and keep count. Has it been 10 yet? So there's the Force 2, but it's got the most amazing translucent finish, which is not going to show up in this video, but you get it on like the really expensive Fender tellies and stuff. My God, this is dirty. Yeah, this is possibly the, no, it can't have been. So this is a Force 2, and it should have been a Force 1. There's also a Force 4 bass and a Force 8 and a Force 30 and stuff like that from that. This one's slightly later. This one I reckon is not Yamaki built. I think this is a Chushin built one. This is 83. It's got a slight V-neck. What you would get now, see if you went into Guitar and said, if you got like a Fender custom shop that's got a V-neck on it, this is what you'd get. Where it's like, oh yeah, it is a V. Oh yeah, no, totally. Oh, it's a V-neck. Oh, that's quite nice. Whereas this and this have, Jesus, it's a Toblerone. It's like pure poof. It's like that. It's like, which is great. The thing about that is, though, it makes the edge of the fingerboard seem very, very, very thin, but it's very thick at the back, and it's also asymmetrical as well. So it's like it's shorter on this side than it is on this side, which people among, including Slash, definitely has an asymmetric neck carve put on his custom shop Les Pauls, because it does make it easier. And it's like, that was a good idea. Yamaki were pretty far ahead of the time there. What it actually was because my pal talked to the guy who actually worked at Yamaki. The machine they had, so they had like a template, and then they had like a spirograph thing where the machine follows the contours of what you've got here, and it makes half a dozen necks over here the same. Like kind of like if you imagine like an arm, okay, let's in this case 4 like that. So when you trace around something with this hand, you end up getting 4 over here for reproducing them, and there was something wrong with it, and that's why they came out asymmetrical. They weren't meant to be, but I don't think you're meant to know that. I think that's meant to be a trade secret, not that Yamaki exists anymore. But they were just quiet about it, and then it became a thing of, those asymmetric necks, and they're like, yes. You want your money back? It was a great idea. Is it all good? Oh yeah, no, we meant that. Quite funny. This was actually when Jen started doing the jpack's guitars. This was one of the guitars I liked. The reason I looked it out was like, oh, I could paint that, because it's just like, I'm all for, like, I'm being a greedy bastard. It's all changed now, because I wasn't sure. The reason I got so many guitars done at the start was because I thought Jen would get bored and only do it for a week. So I got that one as a present, number one, for fixing her shed, and then I took over like 3 guitars the following day to do that. While you're in the mood, do these. That's when I got the wee red bass done. And another couple, and then she started going, oh, these are actually turning out really well. I don't really want to do other people's guitars. I was like, okay, fair enough. I totally get you. I was just sitting there thinking, quick, force stops, get that. So there was a point where I thought there was going to be 5 jpack's guitars in the world. Didn't turn out that way. Things are going a bit mental there. Someone's trying to get her to go to the NAMM show. I was like, yeah, not this year though. It's in January. It's like, not enough time to go there, but maybe next year. Imagine that. Imagine going to a NAMM show with, like, I don't know, 10 or 20 guitars and just like having a booth. You know, that'd be fucking amazing fun. Always aim high, you know what I mean? But it could happen. Also, I'm going a wee bit off topic here as well, but I was looking up last night. I saw, I think it was an Ugly Guitars actually. And there was someone who stuck up this picture of this other artist who kinda does not the same thing, but does paintings on guitar, sort of. Like, how are you going to class them? You know what I mean? Obviously, like, boring black guitar, you know, fancy coffee table type guitar. You know, normally ones, and then you get, like, you know, obviously you get neon colours, and then you get the ones that have got, like, things like copies of, you know, the George Harrison Rocky one, or the Hendrix Monterey one, that kind of thing. She kind of does them, but does things like that. So you get, like, a guitar with a painting on it, but she doesn't actually paint it on the guitar. She does the designs, right? And then sells them to the Fender custom shop, and they make limited runs of, like, 6, 10 of these guitars with this design on it. But that's not really... They're also nothing like as ridiculous as Jen's ones, which are just... Everyone looks totally different. I mean, well, you know, there you go. I mean, I've got a random spattering sitting here. We've got I just might as well pick up... Someone can count this out, how many basses, how many guitars I picked up. There you go. So you get, like, purple, which is kind of like a bluey looking purple, tartan bass. Yes. That's quite different from the Turbo Lover, which is... It's kind of... It was me that named it the Turbo Lover, because it totally looks... It reminds me of the Judas Priest video. So it's kind of like, I don't know, mottled. It's got, like, metal things stuck in it, and I put stupid pickups in it, but I'm going to put more stupid pickups in it. I'm thinking of putting a mini humbucker and a Telecaster bridge neck pickup in it as well, just so you can have a P90, a lipstick, a Telecaster neck pickup, a Strat pickup, and a mini humbucker all in one guitar with some switches. And that's right, the lever for that it fell off and fell down the back of my arm. I can't bother finding it, so it's getting a normal type lever. And then you get how they run in. It's turned into a bit of a there, and then you get like that. I mean, I don't even know what do you call that. It's called Monstera, but I mean it's like sort of like a jungle or something. Like long grass, maybe like a centre parting in your hair, actually, something like that. But you know, these are all very different things, and there's only one. Whereas these Fender custom shop ones, I mean, I know that you get a Fender. I'm not wanting to badmouth this girl, by the way. She's been doing it for years. Doesn't have as many followers as Jen. Jen's been doing it for... I don't even know if it's 6 months yet. I can't remember the exact date. I need to get it. I need to date this one. This is the first called jpack. It says jpack's in the back. The first jpack's guitar ever made. Serial number 001, because I typed it on the back. It's a Japanese Fender neck and parts on it, but the body wasn't. It was just a car boot sale random one. I don't know. It wasn't a Squire. I can't even remember. It didn't have a make on it, or someone had sanded the make off it, so who knows. But you know, it's just a different thing. It's not even what. It's more the colours, I think, Jen's after. And they do have a certain uniqueness to them. I think it's one of those things that you could sort of tell. Once you've seen a couple of them, you can tell them who did it, even though they don't look the same. Because I mean, you can argue that that one's 1 and that one's number 3. Oh, they both look the same then. Yeah. In some ways, I can see how you would think they would look the same. A wee red base. You know, it's these are they were originally called graffiti casters. But then as soon as I'd taken that first one, or number 2 back to, which was an SX Les Paul, because I kind of knew what it was going to look like, and I don't think she did, because I've seen so many guitars and bits that I know what you look like when you start putting the hardware on. I mean, I went round into her back garden like that. Yeah, look at that, and she was just like, whoa. That's when she painted 3 and all that. I knew they were going to look amazing when she started putting hardware on them. But I don't have my same. I don't dislike black guitars the way I used to. I used to hate them because vain person that I am, I'm sure other people do. I don't generally do it anymore. There's a mirror there, but I used to play the guitar and look at it in the mirror so you could see your new guitar. Not being the egomaniac that's looking at myself playing, more the I've just got a new guitar, it's amazing, you're looking at it and you can't really see it when you're playing it. Whereas you can if you've got a mirror, or you can right now. I can look at the guitar because I'm doing a video, so I don't do the mirror thing anymore because I don't have to. But you get to enjoy going up here now, so you actually get to enjoy playing the guitar, listening to the guitar and seeing it, because you can, rather than just seeing the top of the neck and the top of the body. Yeah. Yeah, so who's been counting up how many guitars I've pictured? 1, 2, 3, 4. I picked that one up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guitar video. There you go. Don't say I'm not good to you. So live stream on this weekend is going to be on Saturday night, so everyone else can drink as well. To be honest, I still feel hungover. I'm going to have to put a very, very serious limit on how much I drink. And that limit is going to be 1 bottle of Bucky, no more. I think that's what killed me on Friday night. Was I was over at my pal's house and he sat down and he's like, "Do you want a rum?" I was like, "Yeah, cool." So I had a couple of rums, then I had a bottle of Bucky, and then I had a 2.5 mile walk in -2 degrees, which I think's probably made me ill as well. But I'm currently blaming that. It's not even like I hadn't eaten, because he said when I was going round, because his message was a bit vague. So up here, you still up for tonight? He's like, up here, yeah, totally. Grab some booze and some scran. I was like, up here, right, okay, cool. So I went to the shop, bought myself a bottle of Bucky, and then had dinner. You know, booze and scran. And then I turned up, and what he actually meant was he's got booze and food. So we went over and had a big Mexican meal thing, and it was amazing. So it's not like, I think, see, if I hadn't eaten that, I wasn't really hungry because I just had dinner, but I did eat like fajitas. And I think that's probably the only reason I didn't die or wasn't sick on Friday. It was really good, by the way, much better than the actual Mexican restaurant in America we went to. Like, totally, much better. It's even got a bullet truss rod, this one, which I noticed. We don't know about that one because you can't get at it. So coming up soon. It's not really long story short, is it? This guitar will be jpack end up. I might see what it ends up looking like, actually, because I still. It's whether I give, these guitars. Some guitars I can't paint. It's like this one. I don't want to paint that, because even though I don't like this guitar as much as this one has the amazing see-through paint and it's in alright condition. Whereas this one, when I was the cheap bastard that I am. The guitars I got painted, okay, the wee red bass, it cost me a tenner. It didn't really need painted, whereas the other ones I got painted, needed painted. It's like, this one's kind of, it's just got all this. I would really love to have these bits off and sanded smooth, and it's also got some crap on the back where it's had some other type of bridge on it. I mean, this thing's probably, it must have had the original bridge, whatever that was. It must have been a hardtail because there's no bit in the back. So it must have had a hardtail bridge, and then it had a Wonder Bar at some point, and then it had something that had to be filled in that somehow screwed in from the back, and then it had a Telecaster bridge, and then I moved the Telecaster bridge to the correct position and recut the scratch plate so it fitted really nice, whereas it was kind of a bit like this. I think actually I cut the saddles. I think the whole bridge was no, it can't have been. I don't know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I've got to strip that one down and sand it and swap it over, and The reason I'm going over to Jen's is someone's given her a West Tone bass, one of the later on Korean ones, and I've never played one. I think it's still called the Spectrum. I'm not sure, but it's got the Pantera headstock. I've still got the Pantera. I need to sell the Pantera. Yes, so 35 minutes. There you go. Monday video. It was only going to be 5 minutes. On the plus side, the tumble dryer's probably finished. Rock on. Catch you later.